Hey, what is going on, guys? My name is ThePromG and welcome back to a brand new video. Now, what I'm going to be doing today is giving you guys another manga review. Now, today, the manga that we're going to be reviewing is Taiyo Matsumoto's Blue Spring. Blue Spring is a one-volume collection of short stories that was put out by Viz Media. I think that he has some more works that are also put out by Viz Media, such as Go-Go Monster, I believe, and maybe a couple others like Number 5, I think, had a short run from Viz Media. But yeah, needless to say, Blue Spring is very out of print, and I was lucky enough to find a copy for a pretty good price. You know, nothing amazing. I had to spend a pretty penny for it. But you know, I really wanted to read this series as I've kind of been reading a lot of Taiyo Matsumoto stuff, such as Cats of Louvre and Ping Pong, which I think is an absolute masterpiece. However, going in, I couldn't ignore that I've heard many people who I respect their opinions in the manga tube scene, such as Bei Senpai. I think he's not a big fan of this, whereas Zach from Ultra Shelf thinks that this is a great series for fans of Taiyo Matsumoto. But of course, the only thing that truly matters is what I think about this. So today we're going to be doing a manga review for this book right here. So if you guys do enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more manga videos just like this. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So like I mentioned earlier, Blue Spring is a compilation of short stories, and while the characters aren't necessarily connected and don't really carry over throughout the stories, I believe that every character in this manga goes to like the same high school. But basically what ties all these characters together, other than just being in the same environment, is that they're all students who don't really know what they're going to do in the future. Whether they're at a dead end in life, they're delinquents, or they're just kind of at a roadblock, not really knowing what the future holds for them. I would kind of compare the high school to the school from Akira. You know, there's just so much graffiti all over the walls. The students pay no respect to the teachers. Now, diving into the content of this volume, there's a pretty good variety in the content of each individual story. You know, it's pretty diverse in what's actually happening. For example, my favorite story in this volume is called Revolver, and it's split up into 3 parts: the first, second, and final shot. And it basically follows this group of 3 delinquents who have this run-in with this homeless man who tells them to go to this location and dig up this box, and inside the box, they find a revolver with 3 bullets. And each chapter follows them as they decide what to do with each bullet, and it's very interesting what they do with each one, what they try to do. They try to get the most out of the revolver, and at the very end, it kind of gives you this little bit of a philosophical look into each of their lives. Now, even though this isn't really a spoiler, if you don't want to know what happens at the very end of this little chapter, I'll give you a timestamp to skip to. But there is a very impactful scene, at least what I thought. It was very thrilling, where they decide to play Russian roulette with the final bullet. Others on the beach, clicking the gun to their heads, and they end up just shooting the final round into the distance while they're just sitting on the beach, and they toss the gun into the ocean. I think it was a very, very good story, probably my favorite from this entire volume. And another example of a story is about this baseball team that I think lost national championships, and they're just kind of playing this game of mahjong. It's like this board game, I think with tiles, from what I can remember. My grandma plays a lot of it. But they're just kind of talking about whether they should go on with baseball, whether they should give up, and how they could have, you know, done it different so they could still be in the tournament and, you know, their dream could continue on. Now, there are 7 stories in total, and they're all, again, very diverse, but my main issue with this is that the quality of the stories isn't very consistent, whereas there are some stories, such as Revolver, that I thought were very, very good, and then there's some other stories I think fell a little bit flat, like the first one. I'll use this first story as an example. You know, I didn't really feel like I got to know the characters. Obviously, though it is like a short story, you get like a chapter per story. You know, you're not going to get the best look at the in-depth life of the character, but you know, there should be a decent amount of connection that you feel towards each character, given the little glimpse into their life that you get from this manga. However, I felt that in a few of these chapters, such as the first one, you know, it kind of jumped all over the place, didn't really follow a fluid timeline, which maybe was intentional, but just how my brain works, I didn't really get that much meaning out of it. I also felt that some of these chapters, the first one especially, are just really, really edgy. Like, they try to portray the delinquents, obviously, as like these no good teens, but then like the graffiti, how it says like, it's like shit on the walls, like anarchy, unprotected sex, yeah, we're teenagers, you know, just kind of shit like that. So maybe that's right up your alley, you like that kind of stuff, but personally, it just felt like a little bit overkill for my liking. Kind of took me a little bit out of the environment, but just a little bit. Now, as for the characters in each story, there were some characters that I thought were very interesting, such as the 3 characters from Revolver. There's also the final story where it's this guy going on a date with his girlfriend, and he has this run-in with some thug, and the thug, like, for some reason, is just hell-bent on killing him. Like, he's literally trying to run across the city to meet his girlfriend, and the guy follows his train, he steals a car, you know, he's shooting police officers and stuff just to chase this one guy. I mean, it's very funny. I think the characters in some of these chapters just fly right off the page. But then on the other side of this, there's some other characters, like I mentioned earlier, in some of the chapters that I didn't think really were that good. They didn't really fly off the pages like the other ones, and they just kind of felt flat in a way. But I would say that out of these 7 stories in this volume. The 4 that I thought were actually very good would have to be Revolver, Peace, The Family Restaurant Is Our Paradise, and the final one, This Is Bad. Mahjong Summer and Suzaki-san were pretty good, nothing crazy, and then if you're happy, you know what, clap your hands. The first one that I mentioned earlier, I just didn't really connect with at all. So if you're planning on reading this manga, just know going in that not all the stories are winners, some of which I really, really love, but just know that it's not 100% consistent as far as quality goes for each individual story. And finally, we're going to talk about the artwork. Now, if you guys don't know, I'm a huge, huge fan of Taiyo Matsumoto's artwork. I think it's so unique, and he truly has a gift for creating these absolutely surreal environments. I would go out on a limb and say that Taiyo Matsumoto is the best manga that I've read when it comes to creating immersive environments with his stories. Throughout the manga, you get to see a good variety of landscapes such as the inner city, the subway, the beach, also inside their super rundown high school. I mean, you get a lot of different looks at the environment that these characters live in. I think that's very, very cool. Now, taking a step back from immersion, the artwork in general, absolutely fantastic. I mean, it's what you come to expect from Taiyo Matsumoto. Very unique, very exaggerated in the way that he draws his characters, and I'm absolutely all here for it. I actually found some really detailed things, such as the actual close-up of the revolver in the chapter Revolver. I keep talking about that chapter, but it's just so good. Also, the car chase in the This Is Bad chapter is very well choreographed and drawn. I mean, everything about the artwork is absolutely amazing. Definitely a 10 out of 10 all around when it comes to Taiyo Matsumoto's artwork. So overall, what do I think of Taiyo Matsumoto's Blue Spring? Overall, I would give this manga a 7 out of 10. Now, I don't want to sound too pretentious when I say this, but this is definitely not an entry-level manga. If your experience is My Hero and Demon Slayer, you're looking for a new series, I probably wouldn't recommend Blue Spring. You probably won't get too much enjoyment out of it. Even for people who are looking to get into Taiyo Matsumoto and have read anything by him, I would probably recommend reading series such as Tekken Kinkri and Ping Pong before getting into this one. I think that if you are a Taiyo Matsumoto fan, there's going to be a lot you can get from this series. While not every story in this manga is an absolute out-of-the-park winner, there are some stories in here that I really, really loved that I do plan on going back to very soon and just rereading to see if I can get more meaning out of it, because definitely there's a lot of stuff I probably missed from this. So while this is far from a masterpiece, I think there's a great amount of value in this, and if you're a fan of Taiyo Matsumoto, you should definitely pick up this series if you can for a good price and give it a try. Anyways guys, that's going to do it for this manga review of Blue Spring by Taiyo Matsumoto. If you guys did enjoy this manga review and want to see more, make sure you leave a like and subscribe for more manga videos just like this. So yeah, this has been ThePromG. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and as always, hope to catch you in the next one.